What is going on? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today I want to talk to you about Rivian. I want to give you an overview of some of the data points, what shorts have been doing, and just where I see things going from here. Before I get into any of that, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And with that, let's get right to it. So based on Friday, it did go down 4.37%, a lot of volume. So 24.2 million shares being traded, 24.39 is the average. These are some of the transactions that did occur on the secondary market, over $100,000. Some fairly big ones. So 1.17 million, 12.4 million, as well 2.68 million. So a lot of good transactions, as well as the frequency was definitely there. And going into next week, with next week being, I guess, essentially the last week for the quarter, you're going to see the volume completely explode because a lot of institutions and ETFs are going to be rebalancing their portfolios to either add or subtract Rivian. So you're going to see a lot of volume. When it comes down to the dark pool, these are some of the transactions that did occur on it. Unfortunately, there was a lot, and when it comes down to dark pool, it is linked to shorting, more common than not, of course. So I'll give you an overview of what shorts did, because when it comes down to it, was kind of interesting. So as you can see, short score is currently 59, utilization is 27.78, and just for transparency purposes, and as I've said in the past, I do not see Rivian being a short squeeze play. This is not why I'm bringing this up. I'm only bringing this up merely as a benchmark for this purpose, because you can analyze the data, such as this. On Friday, they did return 125.54 thousand shares. So of course, based on this data right here, with Rivian going down 4.37%, but yet shorts also returning some of their shares, that does signal that they do feel that it was an overreaction and that essentially they do see it going up. So this is why I analyze this information. 13.5% of the free float is being shorted, 89.25 million shares overall are being shorted. Cost to borrow average is 0.95%, so very low. So like I said, I don't see this being a squeeze at all. And the fact that right now there is almost more than 10 million shares available to short, essentially, if they wanted to, but the fact that they didn't and they returned 125,000 shares is kind of bullish. At the time of doing this video, the only real news that came out that's kind of a value is the whole Amazon Rivian van is getting a lot of good reviews based on that. So that might be the only positive news, because at the time of doing this video, there has been no recent press releases, no SEC filings, nothing like that. Nothing that I haven't really covered in a previous video. And when it comes to it, there's also an analyst rating that I don't believe I did cover during my last update. So I just wanted to share this with you. So based on this, so it does show Adam Jonas from Morgan Stanley, who does have a 50% success rating, gave a $24 price target, which whatever is kind of in line with the other analysts. But when it comes to Adam Jonas, I think this is a very big thing for other EVs, because he is notorious for being bearish on any other EV with the exception of Tesla. So the fact that he actually did give a buy rating, a $24 price target, does speak volumes, and most likely is probably the true value of that, or the true price target, is well over $30. But that's just my own interpretation, not a financial advisor, of course. If you are looking for a lot of good compiled information, such as analyst ratings, analyst forecasts for upcoming earnings, take a look at Interactive Brokers, link in the description below, and also the comments for all of this to be completely free. So take advantage of that. But when it comes down to options, for instance, I'll give you an overview of what happened with options on Friday. So as you can see, based on this, $4.63 million in calls being purchased versus $6.62 million in puts. So unfortunately, with this information, it is a little bit more bearish. It does signal the fact that people are assuming that it is going to trend down. But if you kind of zoom out and look at the 3-day view of this, it does show 15 million shares of calls being purchased versus 11 million in puts, majority of which has been and was around the whole Powell discussion, so the whole Fed meeting. So kind of just piggybacking on the fear a little bit, but no matter what, let me know your thoughts on that. If you are optimistic though, showing the calls, this shows all the strike prices, expiry dates based on the end of next week, so that is September the 29th. Rivian is anticipated to go roughly between the 2150 and 22 or 2250 range. But once again, this is just merely a sentiment. It does not move the stock price. So this is a little bit more optimistic. For those individuals that are bearish on Rivian, based on this information, it is anticipated to be sub $20. And when it is sub $20, that is a very big pivot point, because looking at this, with it at $20.59, it is currently trading between this S1 and the pivot. So $20.17 is going to be the next strong support, and $23.28 is going to be the next strong resistance. And as I've indicated, the spread on all of these is very wide, so you do have to anticipate that there's going to be a lot of volatility, so just be aware of that. And of course, on the actual chart, it is unfortunately lower percent of the Bollinger Band, but it is still wedge bound between the 50 and 100-day moving average. So in comparison to a lot of other EVs, essentially, it's doing fairly well. So of course, take that with a grain of salt. And unfortunately, a lot of people are taking Rivian's, I guess, success, because like I've signaled on previous videos as well, just generally, Rivian's been doing very well in comparison to a lot of other EVs. So a lot of people are taking that success essentially as a negative, because obviously Rivian staying at a higher price point is really keeping their PS ratio rather high. So a lot of people are saying, well, look at NIO, it's 1.99. Look at Lucid, it's 12.26, which is considered very overvalued. But a lot of people are kind of pinning this whole PS ratio of Rivian against it, when in reality, it's not really. That's not the case. As of right now, though, just an update, because this does show 6.7. Currently, it is truly 6.5, and the future is 3.6. So once again, let me know your thoughts on this in the comments below. So generally, going into this next week, you really want to watch this $20.17 mark to really hold. If not, then it will unfortunately trade between this S2 and this S1, meaning 18.24 potentially could be the low as far as that. But like I've signaled in the past, anything sub $18, in my own opinion, is a screaming buying opportunity. So sometimes it's better not to always chase a stock, even though it is performing fairly well. And this is why I still continue to cover Rivian, because I do feel, and truly do feel, that it is going to be the number 2 contender beside Tesla in the coming years. That's just my thoughts, of course. Looking at these two data points, momentum shows number of retail investors are getting out, and stochastic is currently at 23, with it being a little bit more bearish, so red line above the black. I do feel that there is going to be a little bit more of a value rally based on Friday, so a lot of people seeing stocks such as Rivian that have been hit very hard, and sometimes a little bit more unjustifiably. So I feel like there might be a little bit more of a value rally, essentially, potentially to maybe the 2150, but generally the actual trend has been set. That is happening with the broader market. So I do feel that it is going to pull down and maybe touch this $18 mark. I don't know if it will actually occur by the end of this week, because there is some pretty positive, anticipated positive GDP numbers coming out for Thursday that might save the broader market, essentially. But let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And take advantage of these promos I've been sharing with you with Moomoo. Just sign up for an account, throw $100 at it, and you get 5 free stocks. Each stock can be valued up to $2,000. So that's one of the best deals, only up until September the 30th. Link in the description below and also the comments. But with all that said, I appreciate all of you watching, and let's all make a lot of money on Rivian.